Welcome back to UMass Sports Weekly. Now joining me at the table to discuss UMass athletics, JMS, Jesse Mayfield Sheehan, and our contender for this week, stepping into the ring, Marc Jean-Louis. I give you credit, no one's made it out yet. You know, it's been a scary place. We'll see how you do. Now, we're going to start it off with a record very similar to JMS's opponents. That was a good one. UMass finished the season, UMass football, finished the season at a strong 1-11, not last place in the MAC, second to last place. Marc was very happy to inform me that Miami of Ohio didn't win one game, so we'll take that one to the bank. But James, I heard you had some good news about the team, if I'm not mistaken.
There was some slight good news to take away from the season. The UMass football team was able to avoid probation based on their attendance, as teams in the football bowl subdivision do have to have an average of attendance of 15,000 or higher over a 2-year rolling period. And in this season, UMass was able to get an average attendance of 15,000, which they were not able to get in their first year. So they were able to avoid probation with that attendance mark this year.
Always love that. Never want to be on probation.
Yeah, that's not good.
I mean, we got to give them credit though too. You know, playing out in Gillette, it definitely hurts their fan base. You know, it's not like the games they had back here when McGurk was still kicking. Marc, what did you see from this team in this 1-11 season? Not much of improvement from their first year in D1.
Yeah, can I just say one thing? I just want to say thank God the season is over. It was quite painful to watch. I mean, just to recap on Friday, that game against Ohio University Bobcats. I mean, here you have UMass for a little while. They make it exciting, and then before you know it, 3 scoring plays later and 2 pick sixes later, you know, final score 51-23 Ohio University. And, you know, it was a really painful game just to sit there and see. I mean, you have A.J. Doyle, he went, 4-12, 109 yards, 2 picks, and then you have Mike Wings, and he goes in there. We went 2-6, and he also throws a pick six himself. So, you know, I mean, just this season, offensively for the UMass football team, it's not good. It's just not good. I mean, they actually scored less points this season than they did last season. Last season they scored 152, and this season they scored 140. And a lot of my problems start with the quarterback position. I mean, they were only able to produce 9 touchdowns on offense all season. I think Jordan Lynch of Northern Illinois ran for 9 touchdowns against UMass when they came here to Gillette. But yeah, 9 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. So already, I mean, you know, when you have quarterback numbers like that, it is really hard to win in any league in Division I football.
Absolutely. It's really tough to do anything with numbers like that coming from your quarterback position. Now, both these quarterbacks, Wegson and Doyle, they're young guys. They're not seniors. They're not getting ready to graduate. Do you think UMass has got to go out for next year and do something about this quarterback position, or do you think we keep rolling with these two guys and try to shape one of them into a starter?
Well, I think Casey, you know, without a doubt, they got to try and find somebody that they can try and shape into a quarterback if possible. You know, the only question is, can you recruit talent good enough given the performances that they've had? You know, the way I see it, what you got to do is you got to try and, you know, see if you can develop the 2 quarterbacks, you know, one of the 2 quarterbacks that you've got into a quarterback, you know, decent enough that can, you know, improve with the team, you know, and show the recruiting class out there that, hey, this is a team that could improve into something pretty good, you know, so that maybe some better players could come to the team and the team can gradually get better, because that's what this is. This is a work in progress. That's what this move up to the FBS is. It's supposed to be a gradual improvement. It's not going to be a winning record team for some time, you know, I think is what it's supposed to be. So, but Marc definitely hit the nail on the head. It definitely starts with the quarterback on the offensive side, you know, and really at the moment right now, you can't really tell, you know, who the right man for the position is, you know, whether it's Doyle or Wegson. I mean, if you had to choose who had the better season, it's probably Doyle. He started more games. Overall, he probably had the better statistical season. But I mean, last year it was Wegson. Neither guy has had a great 2-year career. It's been up and down and all around. You know, neither guy has had that impressive a career thus far. And with all the inconsistency they've had at that position, it really doesn't have a good outlook for the offense. The offense hasn't really gone anywhere over the first 2 years, whereas the defense has actually made some improvements, which is, you know, kind of overshadowed by the fact that the offense isn't able to back it up. I've been talking about this all season. You know, we have game after game where the defense, you know, comes in early on, they show some promise, and then the offense just doesn't back them up, and they get smoked. And so without, you know, finding somebody solid at quarterback, you know, just doesn't help. and at the running back position as well, to have someone to back them up. You know, they haven't been able to find somebody solid. You know, Jamal Wilson showed some promise, but really finding someone consistent at running back to help back up and develop a quarterback, someone at the quarterback position, could really help develop this offense into something really special. And that's really what this team needs if it's gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, it's been a very consistently inconsistent offense since we have seen it enter the Division I, enter FBS. And, you know, it's been tough. We had some higher hopes, I think, especially for this year. But it really does come down to our offense. Like you said, we talked about the D a lot this year, and we did see some big jumps for them. A couple first-half games where they were holding great teams to 7 points. So, you know, there was improvements. There was improvements. The record doesn't show it, but there was improvements. Now, Mark, last year, after their first year in FBS and in a 1-11 season, they immediately discussed dropping back down into 1AA out of FBS after one season. Now, they gave it a chance to see some improvement. You get the same outcome with 1-11, not a lot of great stuff. Do you think this school will again discuss the possibility of leaving Division I?
You mean at this point, I mean, we're now in year 2 of this process here, and I don't think that they're going to discuss possibly moving down to Division I AA again. Because right now, I mean, again, I said, this is our second year in the process, so, you know, we already have our foot into the door here. It'd be just best to go on with what we have and absolutely try to make this a winning football program for, you know, our fans and our alumni to enjoy. And with us going back to McGurk Stadium, I think with the right recruiting system, we'll be able to do that.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it is tough right now that you know, Gillette is really their only big recruiting tool right now, but it's also one of the things that's hurting them is that they're playing across the state. So, you know, we'll cut them some slack. It's early knowing we're all alumni and older. Hopefully we're coming back to a beautiful McGurk Stadium, hanging out, watching a top-ranked team. But that's just stuff I'm hoping for.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah. Well, moving on to women's basketball. Tough Thanksgiving break for the ladies. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving break?
It was a pretty good
With
break.
a good turkey stuffer day, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I had a good one. Ladies of the UMass basketball team, not as much. 0-3 over the break. Jesse, what happened just during this stretch?
Well, they played 3 games against Holy Cross, Maine, and William and Mary, and 3 very tough losses. Against Holy Cross and Maine, games were not even close. Lost by a combined margin of 52 points over those 2 games. William and Mary was a little closer. They lost this game in overtime, and really the game against William and Mary was one they really could have won. I mean, this game was different from ones we've really seen in the women's basketball team so far this season. This one against William and Mary, they actually jumped out to a lead early on in this game, which is really sort of the reverse of what we've seen from the Minutewomen so far this season, whereas usually the other team jumps out to a big early lead. The Minutewomen actually jumped out and got ahead early in this one, but then they sort of just lost the lead later on in the first half, let William and Mary take the lead. They fought back pretty well in the second half and had a chance to win, but could not make the game-winning shot at the end of the second half, and then just could not get it done in overtime, could not execute. So many turnovers and missed shots in overtime, and ultimately gave it up to William and Mary for a tough overtime loss. Whereas the case with Holy Cross and Maine was just a case of the defense could not get it done early on. Went into the first half with big deficits that just, you know, you can't fight back against big deficits like the ones they were facing against those teams. And it just showed in the scoreboard at the end of those games where the other teams, they just ran away with it once they came out of the gate in the second half.
Yeah, tough stretch from here, but like we just discussed in the hockey segment, not really reflective of the type of team they are. We know they're better than what they showed, and like you said, the Holy Cross game, very close. Could have been a win there, so it's not as bad as an 0-3. Tough stretch of games, but we'll keep an eye on them. Mark, what do you want to see from this team as the year continues?
I mean, definitely as the year continues. I think we've even seen it in the games against Harvard University and Rutgers. I mean, they are a team that can get out to a fast start and are able to hold on to a lead. I mean, against Rutgers University, they had a 13-point lead, almost lost it, but, you know, they came together in the last 4 minutes and were able to hold them off for a 1-point victory. I mean, right now what we see, I mean, yeah, UMass is not an offensive basketball team as we know it right now, but their defense is something that really struggles. I mean, what you see over and over again is UMass, they score a basket, and then the other team, they just inbound the ball, just pass it down the length of the court, and then before you know it, easy bucket right there for them. And then going on from there, I mean, they just keep, the other team just has a lot of open shots that UMass has a lot of trouble defending, and so I want to see the UMass, especially on the defensive end, you know, be able to shut down their opponents and, you know, give their offense a chance to hold on to a lead and carry that throughout the rest of the game.
So maybe not the top 25 year we're seeing out of the men's basketball team. Maybe not the equivalent.
I think that's a little bit too high of an expectation.
A little bit too much of a
Just a little bit too much.
All right.
Sorry.
That would be nice. You know, maybe I'm just getting greedy. We've been ranked for, I don't know, a few days for the first time in, what, 10 years? Something like that,
That's
13 years.
1986.
Yeah, so I'm just getting greedy. I'm sorry, guys. All right,
That's
well,
all right.
we'll keep an eye on these teams. Guys, always love the insight. Mark, nice job. You know, I think you put up one of the better fights we've seen. I don't know if he's going to make it out. He might pass out soon if I don't end the segment. We'll be right back to finish up with a wrap-up of Boston Pro Sports.